Hey guys, welcome to the last day of Bookmas. It is Bookmas Day 12, and today we get to do a big old recap of all the books that I read this year in the form of tier ranking. But today we're going to be tier ranking all the books that I read this year. I'm like really nervous about this because there are so many books that I honestly forgot that I read, but we are going to be looking at all of that, and I'm just excited for this video, but it's also really sad because it's the last day of Bookmas. This has been a lot of fun, guys, by the way. I never thought I would actually be able to do this. Every single year I say, oh, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do like 12 days of something, or I'm gonna do whatever, and I never go through with it just because I'm like, oh, I have school, oh, I have this stuff going on. But like, I did it, guys. We did it together this year, and I'm literally so incredibly grateful that I was able to do that this year. I know that I didn't post a lot this past semester, so hopefully this somewhat makes up for it. But I'm really excited to get into today's video, and we're just gonna go ahead and get started on with it. So here are our tier rankings. At the top we have Altered My Brain Chemistry. These are my 6-star books. These are like my 5 stars that I really love. These are like the books that I am constantly thinking about that like literally changed every other book for me. The second one that we have is I think about these frequently. These are like my 5 stars, my 5 to 4 stars that are just like, I think about these a lot. Maybe not every single day like they alter my brain chemistry, but I do think about them quite frequently. The third category that we have is Sleigh Bells. It was originally going to be Sleigh, but then I was like, it's the holiday season. Sleigh Bells. So we do have that one. That one's like our 3 stars. Like, it was okay. Like, it slayed. Like, it was a book, it was good, but it didn't like do anything for me. It didn't change anything. The fourth one that we have is I Wish I Could Forget These. These are the books that I did not enjoy at all, the ones that like I just did not care for. And then the last category that we have is I Did Forget About These. These are the ones I do not remember reading, or that I just don't remember anything about. So those are our categories, and now we have a whole bunch of books to go through. I literally have so many. So we're just gonna start off with whoever's at first, and I see that's Heavy Crown, so we're just gonna go ahead and do that whole entire series. Heavy Crown, I'm gonna say this one slayed. You know, it wasn't my favorite out of the series, but like, it was really good. And then we have Broken Vow. I think about this book quite frequently. If you don't know what this series is about, it is the series by Sophie Lark. I forgot what it's called. It's like, I can't remember the series, like what it's called, but it's a series by Sophie Lark where you have like this mafia family. You have like a whole bunch of mafia boys, and they're all like brothers or sisters or whatever. Like, you're following the Gallows and this other family. They're like rivals, but like they end up coming together in some form or another. And so that's what this whole entire series is about. And I actually reread it this year, so this is my second time reading it, but I love the series. Yeah, I love Broken Vow. I think that's my favorite one in the entire series. Savage Lover, I'm gonna put that in Sleigh Bells. It wasn't my favorite, but like, I love that one. Bloody Heart, I think I'm gonna put it in Alter My Brain Chemistry. Like, this book honestly changed so much for me. Like, I loved this book. I love second chance romances, and that's exactly what this is. But like, there's something about it that like the way that I read second chance romances now, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what the heck, it's so beautiful. Stolen Air, I'm gonna put in Sleigh Bells. Again, it's not one of my favorites of the series, but it is one that I really do love. And then we have Brutal Prince, which is the first one of this series. I'm gonna put it in Sleigh Bells. Again, like, this entire series, like, there's really only 2 that is in my favorite of the series. The 2 that like I think about frequently are like the best ones. If you are going to read the series, definitely pick up Bloody Heart and definitely pick up Broken Vow. Now we're going to get into Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas. The first one, Throne of Glass, I'm just going to say that I think about it frequently. It's not like it's the first book of the series. It wasn't like, obviously I continued it because I have all the books and I want to read Sarah J Maas, but it wasn't something that like altered my brain chemistry. But I do think about it frequently. The next one in this series, where is it at? I know it's on here. Crown of Midnight. Oh my gosh, I'm going to put in I think about it frequently, but this one is almost an alter my brain chemistry just because of like the character that is in it. Like, there is something that happens to a character in this book that I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, it made me not trust Sarah J Maas whatsoever. And then we have Air of Fire. This one did alter my brain chemistry. This is one of my 6-star books of the year. I love this book so incredibly much. It just changed the entire series for me. And then we have Wreck the Halls by Tessa Bailey. Just gonna put it in Sleigh Bells. It was a good little Christmas book. It is what it is. Moving on. Wildfire by Hannah Grace. Alter My Brain Chemistry. This is one of my 6-star books of the year. I love this book so incredibly much. I think it's so good. Can't get over it. Unravel Me by Becca Mack. I know that this is a hockey boy romance. I know it's like a hockey something romance, but I don't remember reading it. Like, I thought that I read this last December or last November, and then I ended up reading it like this February or something, and I was like, I don't remember this book at all. I know I like the first 2 books, but like, I also can't remember anything about those either. I just remember enjoying it. And then we have Twisted by Emily McIntyre. I wish I could forget about this book. It's not my favorite at all. I don't remember much of it, but I also do remember a lot like of the stuff that I did not like in this book. So I'm gonna say I wish I could forget about it. Fully want to wrap it from my memory. Twisted Lies by Anna Huang. I'm gonna put this one in Sleigh Bells. The Twisted series is one of my favorite series of the entire world, but Twisted Lies specifically, I don't really think about it, and it's not one of my favorites. So then we have Thrive by Krista and Becca Ritchie. I'm gonna put it in Sleigh Bells only because this also is not one of my other favorite books either. I did read Kiss the Sky and Hot House Flower already, but reading Thrive was like reading those two books just in the two other main characters perspective, so it wasn't my favorite. And then we have 1,000 Heartbeats by Kiara Cass. I remember reading this book and I'm gonna say Sleigh Bells. Again, this is another book that like it wasn't my favorite and I don't remember much of it, but I remember like having a good time reading it. Oh no, actually I'm gonna put that one I did forget about these because I honestly don't remember anything from this book. I just remember reading it and that's about it. There's nothing that struck out to me from this one. The Third Baseman by Lulu Moore. I wish I could forget about this book. It was not good whatsoever. It's basically about a scientist and a baseball player, but like in the weirdest way possible. Yeah, not good. And then, ooh, we have another series to come across. We have The Reaper by Runix. This is a part of the Darkverse series. There's 5 books in it. I've already read The Predator, which is the first one, and then I continue the series this year. So we have The Reaper. This altered my brain chemistry. This book is so freaking good. I think about The Reaper and The Predator all of the time. Like, I'm not kidding. It's something that's always on my mind. The Finisher, I think about that one frequently, but it's not something that altered my brain chemistry. This is another like second chance kind of romance, like I want you so bad but I can't have you kind of book. It's very good, but like it almost doesn't compare to the first 2 books of the series just because the first 2 follows the same exact couple and like the storyline is so rich. But The Finisher is also really good. And then we also have The Emperor, which I'm going to put in the same category. I think about these frequently. Again, I love this book so much. I just love this entire series. I thought it was so good. And then we have Elle Candy's Graham Effect. I'm gonna put it in Sleigh Bells. I thought about putting it in I think about it frequently, but I don't think about it too frequently. But I did really enjoy this book. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed Elle Candy's writing in that book. And then we have The Dare by Elle Kennedy. We all know where I'm gonna put this. I wish I could forget about it. Then we have The Brightest Light of Sunshine. I'm gonna put that in I did forget about it. I don't remember reading this book. I don't really remember much of it. I don't remember anything of it, to be honest. So yeah. Then we have the Ballad series. Let me find all the books I have on here for that. So first off, we have Once Upon a Broken Heart. I'm putting this in Sleigh Bells. I read it, I enjoyed it, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna continue the series, and I did, but it wasn't my absolute favorite. But The Ballad of Never After, I think about that book all of the time. Like, I love this book so much. I annotated this one. I thought it was so good. And then we have A Curse for True Love. I'm gonna put this one in Sleigh Bells. If you guys watched my end of the year book tag, you know that that was probably one of my more disappointing books of the year, just because it didn't like really wrap up exactly how I wanted it to, but I still enjoyed it. I mean, I was like, okay, series has ended, that's fine with me. And then we have another series. I don't know what the series is called. The Willow Spring series. Let me find all the books for that. Okay, so we have Sealed, Tangled, Claimed, and Frayed. Not gonna lie, I don't remember reading any of these. I know it's a small town, country boy kind of romance, but I don't remember them at all. So all 4 of them is I forgot about these. I feel kind of bad, but it's like, I don't remember you. I'm sorry. And then we have The Shadows Between Us by Trishan Levenseller. I think about this book all the time. It is one of my favorite fantasy romances I have ever read, and it's a standalone one. It literally, like, it changed something for me. I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly how an enemies to lovers is supposed to be. If you're looking for the perfect enemies to lovers, like knife to your throat, like I'm here to kill you type of fantasy romance that's a standalone, not a huge series, The Shadows Between Us is your book. It is so good. And then we have a couple of Monica Murphy books. I'm gonna go ahead and do all of hers. I think I only have one more. Yeah, I only have 3 books by Monica Murphy on here. Monica Murphy is one of those authors where it's like, I love her books, but at the same time I hate her books. Like, there's a series, the Lancaster Prep series, I love that series, but then we have her other series, which is like the Playing by the Blank, or like the sports series that she has, that I'm like, it's not my favorite. So we have Playing by the Rules and Playing Hard to Get. I'm gonna put these in Sleigh Bells, both of which because I didn't hate it and I do remember them, but I also didn't love it. But then we have I'll Always Be With You, which is a part of the Lancaster Prep series, and this altered my brain chemistry. Like, there was something about this book that I was like, wow, I really love this series, and I really love this book, and I know that there's another one that just came out that I really need to read. It came out in October, so I'm like, ooh, how do I wrap up this entire series? Like, it's so good. It's so rich. Continuing on, we have Say You Swear by Monica Murphy. This one, All to My Brain Chemistry. You guys know this is like the third time I have reread this book, and every single time there is something new to it. Every single time there is something about it that I'm like, wow. Like, this was so good. Looking at my All to My Brain Chemistry, I don't think that Bloody Heart belongs there. I'm gonna move it down to I think about it frequently, just because, like, comparing it to the other books that are up there, I'm like, ooh, it doesn't fit. It almost, like, doesn't fit. It's okay. I still think about it frequently. It still is one of my favorite books in the entire world, but it just needs to be moved. And then we have Return to Us by Corinne Michaels. I don't remember this book at all. I don't remember really what it's about or anything of it. Moving on. Now we have the Chestnut Springs series. Oh my goodness, guys. I love this series so much. Okay, we're gonna start off with the first one, which is Flawless. I'm gonna put this one in Sleigh Bells. It's not my favorite of the series, but I also, like, I love this book. Actually, no, I'm gonna move it to I Think About These Frequently, because I love this series. It's one of my favorite. Then we have Heartless, which is the second one. All to My Brain Chemistry. You guys know Will and Cade are my favorite book couple. Like, I love them so much. And then we have Powerless. I am going to put this one in Sleigh Bells. It's not my favorite of the series. I don't think that it really fit in with the rest of the series. At least, like, the way that the character was set up, I was like, it just kind of doesn't go almost. And then we have Reckless, which is the first one. This one, All to My Brain Chemistry again. Like, I love that book. I love Theo. I love him. And I also love Winter's character development in this. It's so good. And then we have Hopeless. I think about that one frequently. It's not my favorite because I didn't like the ending, but I also, like, I still love that book. I still thought it was really good. All right, and then we have Offside by Avery Keelan. I'm gonna put in I don't remember this one because I kind of do, but I also, like, don't enough to have an opinion on it. I just remember not liking it. I think I rated it 2 stars, but that's about it. Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis. I'm just gonna put this All to My Brain Chemistry. I originally wasn't gonna put it on this list, but I thought it was worth mentioning because I did read it this year. It was just one of my favorite books this year. Like, I am Christian. Like, I loved reading this book because it just changed a lot for me and made me think a lot more. So if you are a Christian, you're wanting to get into, like, Christian nonfiction books, C.S. Lewis is the best author to go to. Him and Bob Goff, top, like, favorites. And then we have Love Letter to Whiskey by Candy Steiner. All to My Brain Chemistry. This was a reread for me, and I annotated the entire book, so it was just something about it that was like, ooh, I love this so much. Then we have Love and Friendship by Jane Austen. I do remember reading it, but I also don't remember anything that it's about. Actually, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I am going to put it in Sleigh Bells because Love and Friendship by Jane Austen's literally just making fun of how the 18th century society portrayed women, because they were like, oh, like, women faint all the time. Women are so emotional. And she, like, wrote about that, but in a sarcastic way. And I remember laughing my butt off reading that book. It was so funny. Then we have My Fault by Mercedes Ron. I wish I could forget that entire book. It was terrible. I hated it. Truly hated it. Alright, and then we have another kind of series. This is a 5-book series, but I've only read 2 of them this year. The Lady of Darkness and Lady of Shadows. Lady of Darkness, I'm going to put I Think About These Frequently. Actually, I'm going to put both of them I Think About It Frequently because I really do. I think the next book that I read of the series is just going to change everything for me. But, like, I love these 2 books so much. I just need to finish out the series. It's also another one of those perfect, like, enemies to lovers romance that has such a thick plotline. Like, her writing and the way that her world is set up honestly reminds me so much of Sarah J Maas in, like, such a good complimentary way. Not like she's copying Sarah J Maas because she's not, but it's just so good. Like, I love her writing and I love her story so much. And then we have Island Affair by Priscilla Oliveras. I'm gonna put this in Sleigh Bells. Same as Wreck the Halls. It was good for what it was because this is, like, supposed to be a quick summer read, so I thought it was okay. And then we have Insurgent by Veronica Roth. I wish I could forget about that book. Let's do Divergent as well. Divergent with Sleigh Bells. Allegiant, I also wish I could forget about those. I love the Divergent series. I love the movies very much. But the books, I did not like the books. I like the movies more than the books, which I know that's such, like, a, you're a bookworm. You're supposed to say you like the books more. No. I like the movies more. The books were just not my favorites. Okay, let's do Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. Fourth Wing, as everybody else, it altered my brain chemistry. This book is so good. Like, I love this book. I don't care what you say. Fourth Wing is a good book, okay? Iron Flame, I am gonna put I think about it frequently because the ending is what got me. I think the ending of Iron Flame is honestly what made the entire book for me personally. The first 300 pages took me forever to get through, as you guys know if you guys have been keeping up with Bookmas, but the last 150, 200 pages made the entire book for me so much better. I loved it by the end of it. And then we have One for My Enemy. We all know where this is going. Altered My Brain Chemistry. You're gonna go right up to the front by Mere Christianity. I love this book. You guys already know. You guys, I don't even have to talk about it because you guys already know. Then we have Final Offer by Lauren Asher. I think about this book frequently. It is one of my favorites of the year. I loved it just because I didn't love the first two books of the series either, but like the third one, so good. Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. I think about that book frequently. Divine Rivals. I am going to put this in Sleigh Bells. It's not my favorite book. It's not one that I think about quite a lot. It was one of my more disappointing books that I didn't really love, but it's still okay. Now we have another series. Let's just go ahead and do all of the Crave series that I have read because there's one that I haven't read. Crave, book 1. I think about it frequently. Crush, Sleigh Bells, Court. I honestly forgot everything that happened in this book. Charm. I think about that book frequently. And then Covet. I don't remember this book that much. I remember thinking that Court and Covet were really long. Crush I just don't remember, but Crave and Charm, which is the first and fourth book of the series, I love those two books. I am also working on rereading this entire series right now, so maybe it'll change once I finish like reading the books, you know. Then we have Daisy Hates 1. I love this book. I think about it frequently. I just need to finish the series, but I do love that book. And then we have Clockwork Angel, Sleigh Bells. Not my favorite, but it's okay. And honestly, I'm gonna go ahead and put the rest of Cassandra Clare's books that I have on this list in Sleigh Bells. They were my favorite. I don't love the Mortal Instrument series, but I do like the Clockwork Infernal Devices series a lot more. I just need to finish it. You know, I need to finish both of the series. Again, I have so many series I need to finish, guys. It's kind of ridiculous. Then we have Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. I think about this book quite frequently. I'm gonna go ahead and put right next to Throne of Glass. I honestly think about those little short stories all the time. I know a lot of the characters in those books and like those little short stories end up coming back later in the series, so I'm like I just remember so much of what happened and like the storyline of it. I was like, okay. Then we have Bridgerton, An Offer from a Gentleman. I think about that book quite a lot. This was a reread for me this year. I loved it. Then we have Addicted After All. I think about this book frequently, like maybe not as frequently as some of the others on this list, but it just doesn't fit in Sleigh Bells. But like I do think about the book. I think about it maybe like once every like 3 weeks. I think about the series. And then before we get into the ACOTAR series, because we know where all these books are gonna go, First Down by Grace Riley. I don't remember this book. I remember not liking it, but that's about it. And then we have the ACOTAR series. We all know where it's gonna go. Altered My Brain Chemistry, A Court of Mist and Fury. Even A Court of Mist and Fury, Rhysand's point of view. If you have not seen the video where I binded this book myself, then definitely go watch it. Every single book of the ACOTAR series deserves to go and alter my brain chemistry because it really did. It really altered my brain chemistry. So let's look over my tier list. These are all of the books from Alter My Brain Chemistry to I Forgot About These that are on this list. Just look at that. Just wow. I didn't realize I read so many books this year. I didn't quite reach 100 or over 100 or anything, but I am really happy with what I read because I feel like it's a lot more heavy towards the top than it is the bottom. Like I loved a lot more books I read this year than I did last year. Last year I feel like I was just reading books just to read them, but this year I was like, I'm reading books, the books that I enjoy. So yeah, that is my entire tier list. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed Bookmas just in general. I had so much fun filming all these videos and like editing them and just going through this entire journey. I am so incredibly grateful for all of you who stayed and watched each video, who stayed and commented, and just everything across the board. Just thank you guys so much. I really hope that you guys had a lot of fun going through all these videos with me and just talking about books in general. But yeah, I love you all so much. I hope that you guys have a great and Merry Christmas. Make sure to stick around and subscribe, and I will see you all next year. I love you and peace out.